Welcome everyone to the May 6th Board of Ed workshop. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We're going to start this evening with a fun Tusker Pride moment where we're going to bring Jenna Scatino to the podium, and she's going to talk about the NYP Community Showcase, and I believe she brought some special guests with her.
Hi, thank you for having all of us tonight, and thank you to the board and the community for your continued support. I have many special guests today, and including my partner, Megan O'Connor, who is the Community Project Advisor, who you'll hear from in a moment. Bringing the kids here today started when I contacted the board to tell them the great news that our school had been awarded a Gibbs grant. For those of you who aren't sure what Gibbs is, it's the Guild of Ivy Schools of Northeast. And we were one of 21 schools that applied for a grant to support community projects, and we were one of 3 that was accepted. And one of the things that Meg and I did when we applied for the grant is we came up with the idea to, instead of using the money for supplies, having students pitch to us if they wanted to apply to us to use that money to help fund their projects. And we felt that that was one more step that students could take to build into their ATL skills in their toolbox and how to be an active citizen. So I have 2 groups of students today. There's 2 projects. We actually have 75 community showcase projects. And part of what their goal here today is their actionable steps. The last process of a community project is for students to take action. Now, it doesn't mean if they haven't completed their goal or their dream that their project wasn't a success. And I'll give you an example. We have a group of young men who have actually met with Mr. Haddam and Mr. McCartney. Their goal was to have a digital board put out like the high school does and Reese Park does. And they did not even know that schools had a building and maintenance and how Mr. Haddam's role plays into that. So they have written emails and conducted meetings and done research. To me, that's still successful, even if there's not a new digital board outside on May 15th. So we certainly don't expect everything to be done, but what can happen is they can hand it off to 7th graders, but the tools that they've gained have certainly been successful. And with that, I want to give Ms. O'Connor an opportunity to explain how the community project works here at our school, and then you're going to hear from the students, which is the most important part.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Megan O'Connor. I am the Community Project Advisor here at SMS. And as Jenna mentioned, our students have been working for the entire year, including their 6th and 7th grade years, to really kind of get the language of NYP and practice those skills. It's a year-long process. There's a lot that goes into this project. Our students go through the 4 phases of our project. So they choose to tackle a topic of interest to them. They dive in completely. They work through the phases of investigation. So as Jenna mentioned, they spend a lot of time researching. They go through planning their different choice of project and how that looks for them and what type of service learning that they want to act on. They plan out their steps, they coordinate with different individuals. Again, most of these projects are local community-based, and as our students will share with you, they connected with many individuals to get to this point and to share their work so far with you. So this is just one of their many action steps that they took. Our students spend a lot of time reflecting and will next week actually be able to present their work at our Community Project Showcase. Shameless plug, please, we hope to see you there. So the 15th next week, our students will get to show off and celebrate their work. Again, this all comes together. Their 6th, 7th, and 8th grade time spending the time practicing these skills and really diving in. So I will get out of the way so that you can hear the work that really matters as our 2 awesome groups that are here to share the great work that they've put in so far this year. So here they are.
Okay, so our project is a Moments of Mindfulness Lounge for 8th graders. And I'm going to tell you give you a project description about our whole project. So Our project is going to be a mindfulness room for students to come and like de-stress and get a break from like everything that they have going on during their school day. And it doesn't have to be just about school. It could be for like anything that's going on in their day. And during this year, like me and all my friends have had a really big work overload that caused a lot of stress. So this room would have been really helpful this year. But we want to give this room to prevent future 8th graders from having this overload of stress during their last year of middle school. And also some students are uncomfortable to opening up to our school counselor, so this could be another alternative for them to like decompress and de-stress during their 8th grade day.
So we set up emails and meetings with the two teachers, Mrs. Hannon, the guidance counselor at SIS, and Miss Casey, the student assistant counselor at SMS. And when we went to SMS to meet with Mrs. Hannon, we had an idea of using like the sensory bottles that she had in her room. This is like kind of what they look like. You can like shake it. So we used the grant money to make those, and then when we met with Miss Casey at SMS, we kind of got like an idea of what we wanted the room to look like, and a Zen garden, which is what she's showing you, to help like put in the room. And now Daniela is gonna tell you why we chose this project.
The reason why we chose to do this topic is because we thought it was important for kids to get a break from class to class, and it can help them calm down for their future classes so that they have like a refreshed like mindset so that they can like do better in every class. And it can help like clear their head, and it helps like their brain slow down so they can process things better, so they have like a break in between to process everything they're learning throughout the day. And it can make them have better behavior since they're like calmed down and like they're ready for their future classes in the afternoon. Shakespeare's gonna tell you more.
Okay, so these are our steps that we took to reach where we are now and our goal. So in October and November, we picked our topic and what we wanted to research, which was a mindfulness room for like mindfulness breaks and like how you could reset. And then November, December, we researched what we needed to know about the room, which was like different seating and different things that could like help you calm down. And like we went to have meetings with Miss Casey, Miss Hannon, and like SMS and SIS. And then in December through March, we sent emails and scheduled meetings with teachers, and that was Miss Casey and Miss Hannon. And in March and May, we gathered our research and made a PowerPoint and presented it. So this is where we're presenting it, and now off to the next group.
Our community project is flexible seating in classrooms for teachers and students. We've taken many steps to make sure that it is easy to like access, it's easy for them, the classrooms and teachers to take care of, and it will work for all classrooms. We first researched types of flexible seating and the benefits that come with it. Then we emailed Miss Randy Pepe at SIS and Miss Kelly Groner. They're 5th grade teachers, and they have flexible seating throughout their whole classroom, and they have been doing this for many years, so they're really experienced. We met with them and toured their classroom to discuss like their rules and how they run their classroom to see if it would be possible to do these at SMS. We also went over to we also met with Miss Mangoni to discuss the capital bonds and showed her the types of flexible seating we were thinking and which seats the students liked the most. We also met with Ms. Shalinsky and Mrs. Hayden to talk about the rules and tips to maintain a stable learning environment and flexible seating in their 7th grade classroom.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about how we chose our topic and the topic selection. Our original topic was much different from what we now have. 3 out of the 4 of us, we do cheerleading for CISO, and we wanted to elaborate on that to do something with sports. But after we discussed and went to the community project wins, we realized that we wanted to do something with the whole school. So we decided to do flexible seating. When we also went to the community project wins, Ms. Scatino in her office has these spinny chairs and comfortable chairs, and we found out that these are really nice and they're comfortable and they're easy to focus in. And also we said that more classrooms should have more types of flexible seating. In some classrooms there are these rubber bands on the desk that you could put your feet on and shake your leg on. And then some classrooms have comfortable chairs, but not all students are able to have them. So we figured that if we put this out there, maybe all the classrooms could have flexible seating, and yeah.
So I'm going to be talking about the benefits and impacts of flexible seating. Flexible seating helps students feel comfortable and focused while learning. We've noticed this with ourselves because when we are in classrooms and we're sitting on the hard chairs, it's very hard to focus within our work. And so when we realized that we needed something to help us with that, that's where flexible seating came in the picture. Flexible seating lets students choose where they work best. For example, sitting on a spin chair, wobble stool, or an office chair can really help with this. This helps kids who have trouble sitting still, who need to move around to have a better learning experience. And flexible seating can make learning more exciting and comfortable for everyone. And not only does it impact the students, it impacts the teachers too, because if the students are focused, then the teachers will have an easier time focusing and getting their points across for what they have to teach that day. And also, some teachers need help focusing as well. So if they if they needed to have any chair to help them with that, it could also help, because we've noticed some teachers like to have their office chairs and they like sitting. Some teachers like standing. So everyone's really different and they have their own preference. And that's how it benefits and impacts.
Okay, I'm going to talk about research into action. So based on what we have learned from students, teachers, and the articles we've read, we found that students pay better attention and learn better when they are sitting in a chair that feels comfortable. Many students find regular chairs uncomfortable. When we spoke with the 5th grade class, they said they would feel more comfortable moving into the middle school if they had flexible seating options, and it would make school more fun. They also shared with us some types of seating that they would like and why. So tall swivel chairs, they said they like that to stand and it's comfortable. Bean bags, they liked that because it was comfortable and easy to work with. The ball chair, they said you can wiggle around in it. The office chair, they like to spin, but it can still keep them focused. And then the camping chair was more, the teacher said that it was portable and easy to clean, and it was cheap, so good option. Yeah.
Before I ask if you have any questions, hopefully you can see that half of the community project is really students being able to delve into a topic that's student choice and voice, and that's interesting to them, and while still learning how to be a citizen either in your school, your community, and your state. But half of what they're learning are those student skills that, for instance, these students speaking in public, which is probably the number one fear that people have. Writing professional emails, setting up interviews. We had a student write to Mrs. Mangoni today to say, I would just like to follow up with you on a previous email. And that was all them that was saying that. I said, that's pretty impressive that they knew that language. So students will be able to talk with you next Thursday about not only their topic that they're passionate about, but all of those skills that ties into that being a lifelong learner. Does anybody have any questions about the project or about their interest? I think they did a pretty fabulous job.
I have a comment, just an observation, and I guess if anyone wants to share how you felt about this, that would be great. You went into this with some ideas on what you might want to accomplish or address. I liked seeing that as you went through that process, you were learning as you went through, and that adjusted your whole project at times, and adjusted the end goal, and it seemed like it made it even broader and more impactful. So I'd like to see the thought as you're going through and the thought and learning as you're going through the process. I think that's a reality in research and in life.
If Megan wants to jump in, but she creates a process journal for students, and they are provided digitally. And my students actually, these are the two groups that I mentor, they are very early on, they said, can we have it printed out? They want a notebook. They said, we do so many things on the computer, we like writing. So again, that's that student choice and voice and advocating for what you want. So they have folders, but that process journal has prompts and ideas and research, and really Megan does such a fabulous job of outlining that. And then there's a spot for them to take their own notes as they kind of move from the prompts to them advocating, this is what we want to ask, and this is what we need, and this is where we want to go. So they can take excerpts.
Was it easy? Was it easy to get support, or?
Why don't you?
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Yeah. Why? Why was it easy? What made it easy?
The resources were really accessible. Like Miss Catino was right there with us, and then Miss O'Connor was right across the hall. And then we could ask like any of our previous teachers if if we needed any help. Like the other group went to our ELA teacher last year about the flexible seating, and then we went to our counselor from our last school to go get some answers as well.
Like what Ariana said, there was like a lot of like teachers that were open to help like get to where we are now. They were really open about like helping us, and like they were open for like any questions we had and anything that they could do to help us.
You had a question.
I had a comment, not a question too. I think that you've done an amazing job in your presentations, and I was going to ask if you made your recommendations to Mike Lantier and H2M. We are in the middle of the capital project, and seating in the different buildings is going to be one of the components. And he's going to be doing an update on his presentation later in the agenda. But I think through your teachers, you can have that information forwarded to Mike. I think it would be very beneficial. I think it says a lot about you as students and what you've done. And also, your initial presentation was wonderful, but the fact that you were able to respond to impromptu questions, the poise that you demonstrated, the ability to think and react and give your follow-up information so accurate to the question, I thought was just amazing. I really, really think you've done a wonderful job with this, and if this is an example of what we can expect next week, I'm just very, very proud of the students at Somers Middle School. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you guys. And I have to just reiterate everything that both Chad and Harry said, and it's such wonderful, because I know this is the second full year of the project, a third year of it overall, and to see the evolution, I just love seeing kids learn all these soft skills, as you would call them, right, of learning and going through these projects. And, you know, I think people take for granted that not everyone knows how to write an email anymore, a professional email, I should say. How many kids actually check their email? So thank you, guys, and thank you for coming and sharing this all with us. And I hope everyone can join us on May 15th, right down in the gymnasium, correct, here at the middle school?
6 o'clock. 6
p.m. And I think we're in store for some great projects in addition to these two. So.
They want these back?
Yeah.
You want these back?
Oh, and your Zen Garden's on that end. You're hoping to take it home, Harry?
Mm-hmm. Well, Pat wanted it.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is going to move us into our public hearing for the proposed 25-26 budget. This is a time the Board of Education adopted the 25-26 budget on April 22nd, 2025 is required. After its adoption, school districts must hold a public hearing on the budget at least 7 days, but not more than 14 days prior to the annual meeting, an election, or special district meeting at which a school budget vote will occur. The public is welcome to make comments on the budget during this time. Do we have any public comments or public comments on the budget at this time? Just making sure no one's running up to the podium. Okay. So I guess we can now close the public hearing. Oh, actually, wait. I think Harry and Chris wanted to make a couple comments, though.
I was just going to say that the budget process actually starts pretty much the day after the budget is passed. So 2 weeks from tonight, we'll have a vote on the budget. We'll have a decision at the end of that night. And pretty soon right after that, we'll start working on the next year's budget, looking at what's included in this budget, what's passed, what the needs of the district will be going forward. Fortunately for me, I'm not going to have to participate in it, but Chris is, and he may have some other comments.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. Just it is an ongoing process, always evolving, and any information can be found on the website. All the presentations, all the documentation is there. So please go check it out. Any questions, please let me know.
Great. So I think with that, we can close the public hearing portion for the budget. The vote is on May 20th, and the trunk line newsletter should be coming out as well, which also gives further information. H2M is going to be presenting tonight, right? Tonight? Yes. I have that on the capital project update as well, which is also part of it, and we're continuing with our school tours as well. So without further ado, that brings us to our special recognitions. 25 years of service. So I don't know who are we starting with and how?
Right, tonight we have the wonderful opportunity to recognize those staff members through the district who have served with dedication for 25 years. The building principals will have a few words to say about those staff members from their buildings and district-wide staff members. And we'll start off with Primrose.
Good evening, everyone. We'd like to invite our Primrose honorees to come forward. We have Rachel Lopatka, Leah Oliva, Stacy Lockard, and Barbara Haggerty. And we also have Jeff Getman, who couldn't make it, but we hope he's watching us at home. We'd like to start with Barbara. We are grateful to have the opportunity to honor our very own Barbara Haggerty, who has been the quiet engine behind so much of what makes Primrose run smoothly. Barbara, for a quarter of a century, you have been the steady, strategic, and somehow always one step ahead presence in our building. Every morning, while most of us are still deciding on coffee orders, you're already on the phone, texting, coordinating, and working your magic to make sure every class is covered and every staff member is where they need to be. And if it's not early in the morning, it's late at night, because the messages don't stop. Whether it's 9 p.m. or 5 a.m., you're thinking 10 steps ahead, and you're right there with us, working behind the scenes to keep our days from falling apart before they even begin. Now let's take a moment to appreciate Barbara's legendary desk. Yes, it might look like a whirlwind passed through, but let's be clear. Barbara knows exactly where everything is. That desk is her command center, her battlefield, and her masterpiece. She handles payroll with precision, maintains our building calendar like a true maestro, and makes the impossible task of finding substitute coverage look, well, almost easy. And she does it all without seeking recognition or applause, but tonight she's getting both. Barbara, you are so much more than your job title. You are our problem solver, our scheduler, our text at dawn warrior. You are the calm in the chaos and the keeper of details. And the reason so many days at Primrose go right, even when they start wrong. We are so lucky to have you, and we hope you feel just how deeply appreciated you are. And Mr. Getman, we hope you're watching at home. Tonight, we are proud to honor you, a man who has dedicated 25 remarkable years to the students, families, and staff of the Somer Central School District. Your legacy spans buildings, grade levels, and generations. You began your journey with us as a school counselor, and here you are 25 years later, once again serving in that role. But to say you've simply returned would hardly do your story justice. The path between then and now has been nothing short of extraordinary. Over the years, you've worn many hats and worn each one with skill, integrity, and heart. From assistant principal to beloved building principal, you've been a steady source of wisdom and calm. Your leadership has left a lasting mark on every school you've touched, guiding both students and staff with clarity, compassion, and a healthy dose of humor. Let's talk about the transition from middle school to our youngest learners at Primrose. For many, that shift would be culture shock, but you made it look effortless. From day one, you connected with our littlest learners in the same genuine, meaningful way you connected with teens, by seeing them, honoring who they are, and meeting them exactly where they are. And of course, we can't celebrate you without mentioning your sense of humor. Whether easing tension or lifting spirits, you use your humor not as a distraction, but as a bridge, a way to connect, to uplift, and to bring joy to those around you. Though you've only been at Primrose with us for a few short years, your impact runs deep. Our families trust you, our staff counts on you, and our students absolutely adore you. Thank you, Jeff.
Our next honorees are an amazing trifecta from our first grade team. We are recognizing 3 extraordinary educators who have each dedicated 25 years to shaping young minds and hearts in our first grade classrooms. Though each of these remarkable teachers brings her own unique style, strengths, and personality to the classroom, they are united in a shared passion, a deep commitment, and a lasting impact on generations of students. They've not only taught our children how to read and write, but have also helped shape the very foundation of their educational journeys. Their passion, patience, and unwavering commitment have touched countless lives and made a lasting impact on generations of students and families. So we'd like to speak about each one.
Okay, Leah, if there were ever a teacher more deserving of praise and more averse to the spotlight than Leah Oliva, I would be truly surprised. Quiet and unassuming, Leah nevertheless rises to every occasion, stepping in whenever she is needed most. From her time as an e-learning teacher, do you remember that? From her time as an e-learning teacher to her former role as a first grade team leader, she has worn many hats with grace and professionalism. Her creativity knows no bounds, and her projects are legendary, offering students rich, varied opportunities to showcase their learning. Though an idea may originate in her mind or in her classroom, Leah's collaborative spirit ensures it quickly spreads across the grade level, inspiring others along the way. One of Leah's inspiring events was the first grade expert fair, in which students write books and answer visitors' questions regarding a topic on which they are experts. Without a doubt, Mrs. Oliva would be an expert on everything first grade. Her expertise in the primary years has also contributed to her ability to be a steadfast advocate for her colleagues, fostering thoughtful reflection on curriculum and championing meaningful experiences that benefit all students. Her leadership, her insight, and unwavering commitment to inclusivity and excellence has left an indelible mark on our school community. Throughout her career, Leah has championed inclusive practices, working across diverse collaborative settings, from integrated co-taught classrooms to supporting English language learners with both compassion and expertise. As much as she hates to be the center of attention, we are grateful this opportunity to say thank you, Leah, for your extraordinary contributions, your generous collaboration, and the lasting impact you've made on both students and staff.
It is my pleasure to honor Rachel Apaka. One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. These words perfectly capture the spirit of Rachel Apaka, a living example of what it means to transform lives through education. In the uncertain days of 2021, when connection and consistency were harder to come by, Rachel and colleagues emerged as champions of read-alouds and a passionate advocate for One Book, One School. Her early and unwavering belief in the power of a shared story brought joy, unity, and a love of reading to every student at Primrose. Rachel's commitment to professional learning is deep and ongoing. She continuously engages with new research and strategies, not only to enhance her own practice, but to elevate those around her. As a first grade teacher and an early adopter of the science of reading, Rachel has continuously sought innovative ways to reach even the most vulnerable reader. From leading ed camps on orthographic mapping to diving deep into collaborative book talks, her love of literacy is contagious. In her former roles as ELA leader and learning coach, she has not only improved her own practice, but inspired those around her to grow as well. Beyond the classroom, Rachel supports the arts through Somers Tusker's Arts Rising Stars, just one way, reinforcing her deep connection to our community as both an educator and a parent. Rachel, your passion, leadership, and unwavering dedication have left a lasting impression on students, colleagues, and the entire Somers community. Thank you for 25 incredible years. Now, there is no way that I could forget Stacy Lockhart. To be a teacher of first graders requires skill, a thirst for knowledge, dedication, and a sense of humor. Stacy Lockhart has all of these qualities and many more. When her colleagues are talking about English language arts, she joins in those conversations, but she is always making room and advocating for collaboration around mathematics. As our math leader, Stacy makes sure that mathematical learning has a time and place and gets its fair share of professional learning. To see proof of her work, one look no further than the recently imagined math nights at Primrose. Joyfully, Stacy and her colleagues meet students at the door at math night, challenging them to check in, making their names into a graph. Children move from table to table, challenging their parents and other students to games. The love of learning is infectious. Stacy is the champion that every child needs. She will work tirelessly to connect with her students and to know them and their families on a personal basis, making those late night phone calls, those early morning emails, and always, always making sure to connect with their students. She has kept in touch with families and students over these 25 years, welcoming seniors in for a senior experience in her classroom. She even recently met a former student uncertain about a chosen career path. As she was so many years ago, Mrs. Lockhart was there, making the time to talk, convincing him to come try out education and be a sub at Primrose, and to see if he would enjoy it. Spoiler alert, he did. She is also a lover of bad dad jokes. Additionally, she instills this love in her students, encouraging them to find humor in words with multiple meanings. Sorry, parents. What did the calculator tell the student before the big math test? Don't worry, you can count on me. Mrs. Lockhart, you are always someone we can count on for children. Our students have been blessed to have you for 25 years, and we will count ourselves lucky for many years to come. Congratulations to all.
Good evening. So I'd like to welcome 3 wonderful individuals from SIS, Dimpna Carroll, Carmela Harris, and Sue DeMarco. Come on up, please. So as you can see today, we're not celebrating 1, not 2, but 3 very important staff members from SIS, Dimpna Carroll, Carmela Harris, and Sue DeMarco. They've all reached this incredible milestone of 25 years of service, all at SIS throughout their careers. In honor of that, we thought about breaking out some chart paper, organizing a gallery walk, and maybe even assigning groups with colored markers to reflect on their contributions. But then we remembered that that's Dimpna's dream and her nightmare all at once. Because there's one thing that Dimpna is known for is that she does not enjoy my reindeer games. Spirit days, she'll acknowledge them. Relay races, she'll hide. Staff competitions, she'll say she has a parent phone call. So we brought the gallery walk with us to make them feel right at home and to take a moment to celebrate the work and impact Sue, Carmela, and Dimpna have had on SIS. These are 3 educators who have given the school not just their years, but their hearts. I'm going to start first with Dimpna, our resident chart paper gallery walk enthusiast. But beyond the visuals and the fun, Dimpna's calm, cool, and collected presence in our school is a true voice of reason. She has a gift for seeing the heart of a situation, offering support and insight with warmth and wisdom and just the right amount of wit. Her classroom, which she's have a few, has always been a safe, welcoming space where students know they are seen, valued, and understood. Dimpna's worn many hats over the years at SIS. She was a 3rd grade teacher, AIS reading teacher, special area coordinator, learning coach, SFA president, and probably a few more that I forgot. Through each of these roles, though, she has brought a wealth of knowledge, a collaborative spirit, and an unshakable belief in our students. She leads with heart and humor, and her contributions have made a lasting impact on all of us. And of course, if anyone knows Dimpna or has been at SIS, we all know Dimpna's stories wouldn't be complete without the voice of her beloved mother, whose Irish wisdom and warm brogue, which she very well imitates and can do, sounds like you're talking to her mom, have been passed on to us in moments of laughter, comfort, and clarity. And through her stories, Dimpna's mom has been a guiding voice, not just for her, but all of us here at SIS. And her students love working with her. She has a magical way of motivating them to become better readers, helping them challenge themselves, build confidence, and grow tremendously without even realizing that they're learning how to read. And if you ever want to know if a student just left Dimpna's room, you look for a smile on their face, and of course, the dum-dum lollipops that she gives out each day. And now, I'll talk a little bit about Carmela. When you think of 25 years and 24 students per year, Carmela has taught more than 600 SIS third grade students. That's almost the size of our entire school right now. Each one was lucky enough to experience her gentle voice, her endless patience, and her calming presence. Whether a child was overwhelmed or struggling with a decision, Carmela was the quiet, steady guide. I've seen her lean down and softly ask to a child who's not very happy at the moment, not making the best choices, and she'll just say, "Is that the best decision?" And somehow this always works, and the situation and the child are back on task. There was one day, though, that Carmela was heard raising her voice in the third grade great room. That day is still talked about. And there's been rumors that we thought about putting a plaque on the wall to commemorate that moment. Carmela has also shaped the broader SIS experience through her role as a third grade coordinator, science coordinator, committee contributor extraordinaire. And if something important has happened, Carmela's had a hand in it over the years. With calmness, flexibility, and wisdom, she has that classic line that she just says, "We'll make it work," with reassurance, and then you know everything's going to run smoothly. I recently had a conversation with Carmela's daughter, and one of the most amazing parts of Carmela's legacy is that her love of teaching inspired her daughter to follow in her footsteps. Her daughter shared that seeing her mother every morning leave for SIS with a smile on her face and so much excitement, and return home each day so happy with stories to share, made such an impression on her that it inspired her to become an educator as well. There's a lot more I can say about Carmela, but since she is leaving us and retiring, I have to save some for June. When we think of what truly makes a great teacher, these two women, who have often been confused by parents, staff, and teachers as they started in third grade together in rooms next to each other, kind of look alike, they check every box of what a great teacher is. They're knowledgeable, kind, compassionate. They motivate, they mentor, they're confidants, they're advocates, they're role models, they're friends and trusted adults. They are determined and resilient, but most of all, importantly, they love every child at SIS as if they were their own. And last but not least, Sue DeMarco has been started at SIS as a part-time monitor and quickly became a steady presence at the third grade. A helper, a problem solver, the queen of the cafeteria. From the moment the buses roll in the morning until the last one pulls out, Sue is boots on the ground, voice on the radio, wearing her distinguishable black coat, watching over arrival and dismissal with the kind of care and attention that makes parents and children feel safe. Throughout the school day, she's everywhere, organizing materials, prepping and copying materials, fixing the copy machines after I break them, and ensuring lunch and recess run like clockwork. And when the games begin at SIS, watch out. Sue is one of the most competitive staff members we have. Whether it's a team challenge or building scavenger hunt, Sue's competitive spirit is evident. But where she shines the most is her relationship with students. They seek her out, not because they have to, but because they want to. They know they can often find her at her desk ready to listen. They know she cares. They know she'll help them through anything, whether it's calling home for a forgotten iPad or to confirm their dismissal plans. Her warmth, consistency, and compassion have touched hundreds of lives over the years. Sue, Carmela, and Dimpna, together you have given 75 years of heart, laughter, leadership, and care to SIS. You've mentored colleagues, shaped young minds, and made this school feel like home for so many. It's a great family because of you. Your impact cannot be measured in lesson plans or bus duties. Thank you for everything, and congratulations on this incredible milestone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris McCartney. I'm the Facilities Director here at Somers, and I'd like to ask Carl Bleckner, Head Custodian at SAS, to join me up here, please. Congratulations again to everybody celebrating 25 years here at Somers. It really is an amazing accomplishment. Back when you all started here, everyone had a flip phone with an antenna. Everyone was worried about Y2K, had fewer gray hairs, and a lot more energy. A lot has changed since then, but one thing hasn't. Dirt still finds its way into every corner of every building here in Somers. And that's where people like Carl Bleckner come in. For the past 25 years, Carl has shown up to work to help keep our schools running smoothly. Behind every clean hallway, every shiny floor, and every light fixture, there's been a lot of elbow grease and a whole lot of love for this school community. I stand here today with deep gratitude for everything that you do on a daily basis. Being a school custodian is not a glamorous job, but it is so much more than just cleaning floors, cutting grass, or changing belts on exhaust fans. It's about taking pride in creating a safe, clean, and welcoming environment where others can do their work, whether that's learning, teaching, or working. In my years in this field, I've come to understand the custodian's role is not just behind the scenes. It's part of the heartbeat of a building. As a school custodian, if you do it right, you are not just responsible for keeping a clean building. You get to witness generations of students growing up, see staff come and go, and get to work alongside other people that treat this place like a second home. In Carl's words, it feels like family here, and I love what I do. Since walking in the door at 29 years old, Carl has reached many milestones. He saw the birth of his first daughter. He's raised his family in his home right down the road here in Yorktown. He achieved the title of head custodian in March of 22 and is currently stationed at SAS in that role. He has worked over 9,000 days, walked hundreds of thousands of steps, climbed countless ladders, painted hundreds of walls, waxed miles of hallways, shoveled thousands of pounds of snow, and has unclogged an unspeakable number of toilets. If I had $1 for every mess that Carl has cleaned up over the past 25 years, I could retire early. But Mr. Platania told me recently that's not in the budget. Carl, your work ethic is only matched by your ability to find humor in the chaos we call custodial work. Through every spill, every snowstorm, every strange odor that you've hunted down, you have stuck around, and that's dedication. What makes you so valuable isn't just your skills with a floor buffer. It's the way that you have treated this job and everyone in the building like they matter. You are the first one that they call when they're too cold or too hot or when something breaks or if the lights go out. You are the one who makes sure the building is ready and the flag is up every single day, even if no one notices until you take a day off. Carl, thank you for 25 years of loyalty and hard work. Congratulations on this incredible milestone.
Good evening. My name is Gerard Esposito, and I'm in charge of transportation for Somers School District. I'm here to honor one of our seasoned monitors for 25 years, Miss Kathy Mahood. Unfortunately, she could not be here tonight. Basically, she said, at 7 o'clock, I go to sleep. So, but I just wanted to take a minute and let you know about Kathy. I started here in 2020, and I've been here for 5 years. Before that, I worked at a yard where I had 300 employees. I have 21 now, and it's like a family here. The first day I came in, she was one of the first people I met, and every day I see her, she is nothing but a little firecracker, but she is all heart. She has worked here for 25 years, transported thousands of students, and currently has done all of our most of our out-of-district routes, and works with some of our tough special needs students. Over the past couple of months, she has stepped up in a way that I have not seen any monitor step up before. Wherever I place her, she shines, and that speaks volumes for her character. And over the past 25 years, I'm pretty sure that has been her mantra. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. But I can't do this job without people like her. And for 25 years, she's been doing it. And I'm hoping I get more out of her, you know? I want to see her every day. She's one of my favorite employees. She is a shining beacon whenever I see her walk through my office door. But yeah, I wish she was here tonight so you guys could see her and see her personality. But again, I would love to see her every day continue this job. Again, thank you for showing up for support. And sorry, again, like I said, a little bit nervous. Chris was like, "No, you gotta do this." So, but yeah.
For Chris, he's getting run over.
Yeah, it's always Chris. But again, Kathy Mahood is one of my most trusted employees, and I would trust her to do this again for another 5 years. She works very well with any student that I put her with, and I would trust her with my kids if I had them. But yeah, again, thank you again for showing your support for her, and Kathy, if you were here, you know, thank you again for more doing. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to invite the honorees from SMS to come up here. If we could have Rich DeVito, Sean Kennelly, Dean Pappas, Allison Pepe, Phyllis Levesque, and Kathleen Wright. Please join us, 6 SMS staff members this evening. I think it's worth noting that most of their career, if not all of their career, has been spent in a middle school. And that is pretty admirable because most of us know 3 years in middle school is enough. And to do 25 years in middle school is pretty remarkable. So we're going to start with Rich DeVito. And it is a great joy and sincere appreciation that we recognize Mr. DeVito for 25 years of outstanding service to Somers Middle School. As a technology teacher, Rich has brought STEM education to life, inspiring students with hands-on learning and real-world applications that spark curiosity and confidence. And you can see this throughout the hallways of SMS. Students take risks in Rich's classroom, and they're excited. They run down the stairs despite being told multiple times not to run down the stairs so that they can get to Rich's technology class. And you hear 8th grade students walk by groups of students manipulating different things that I don't know the names of. And they're like, I remember that project. That was the best time. I missed that class. And that's always what we're looking for in an educator, people that inspire us to learn and do more. His creativity and expertise have made him the go-to person for innovative building projects across the school, and his steady leadership as the co-stage crew advisor has ensured the magic behind our drama productions run flawlessly. And if you come to any of our productions, you see the intricate design materials that are used and just the pride that our students in the stage crew have at each one of those shows. Rich is the epitome of a team player, reliable, resourceful, and always ready to support others. This evening, we thank you, Rich, for your dedication, passion, and the lasting impact you've made on generations of students and colleagues alike. Thank you. Next, we would like to recognize Mr. Sean Kennelly, who's not with us. Hopefully he's watching this evening, for his exceptional dedication and service as a school psychologist within the Somers Central School District community. Over the course of his career, Sean has supported students across our high school, middle school, and intermediate school, always with compassion, insight, and an unwavering commitment to student well-being. He works closely with families to provide tools and strategies that promote mental health and wellness, and he brings a thoughtful, solutions-minded approach to every challenge. As a valued member of our wellness team, Sean collaborates with everyone to ensure students receive the support they need to thrive. We are grateful for his steady presence, professional expertise, and the positive impact he continues to make in the lives of so many. So thank you, Sean, for all that you do. Next, we are honored to recognize Mr. Dean Pappas for his dedicated service and impactful contributions to our school community. Throughout his career as an English teacher, Dean has guided students in building strong skills as readers and writers, and more recently, he has played a vital role in supporting struggling learners through our AIS literacy program, offering thoughtful and targeted instruction to help them grow. Students who struggle in those classes leave that classroom more confident and ready to take on more daunting tasks throughout middle school, and that's all credited to Dean's work in the classroom. Beyond the classroom, Dean brings valuable insight and leadership to our building safety team. He's always coming with a solution-minded approach to try to better the community here and make sure that we are safe and working to the best of our abilities. He draws on his expert experience as a local fireman to help keep our school community prepared and protected at all times. As the advisor to the Tusker Tribune, he empowers our young journalists to share their voices and keep us all connected through weekly student-produced articles. Students feel very empowered. They write amazing stories, and they most recently wrote about a lovely experience that we all had in DC together. Watching Dean Pappas throughout the hallways build those connections with students outside of school on trips, making sure that they're really taking in all that life has to offer, is really amazing. He makes real-life learning happen whenever he gets that chance. Dean, we extend our deepest gratitude for all you do, both in the classroom and beyond, to support, inspire, and strengthen our school. Thank you, Dean Pappas. Allison Pepe, I hope that you are watching, because it is a true pleasure to recognize Miss Allison Pepe for her outstanding contributions to SMS. As a passionate Spanish teacher and the curriculum and team leader of her department, Allison inspires students every day to connect with world languages and cultures in meaningful, engaging ways. Outside of her classroom, Allison plays a key role in supporting our 8th graders, helping to organize enriching field trips, including the memorable overnight trip to Washington, D.C., which we just experienced, and watching all of the work that Allison put in firsthand is pretty remarkable. That trip broadens the horizons beyond the classroom, and it's so much time and effort is put into making that trip happen, and Allison took that under her leadership this school year. A dedicated coach and proud Somers Tusker, both in and out of school, Allison brings her energy, care, and school spirit into everything she does. She also leads our beloved Secret Buddy initiative, spreading joy and strengthening the bonds of our faculty and staff family. Allison, thank you for the warmth, leadership, and heart you bring to our school each and every day. Thank you, Allison. This evening, we are proud to recognize Ms. Phyllis Levesque for her unwavering dedication and compassion as a teaching assistant in our school community. Phyllis was one of the first people I met at SMS this school year, and I am still here to tell about it. I still come in every day, and I see Phyllis every morning, and she always gives me the best pep talk. But truthfully speaking, really, it comes from such dedication and heart that she has for this school community. And Phyllis plays a vital role in supporting our most vulnerable learners, offering encouragement, guidance, and personal reteaching to help every student find success. She is also an invaluable partner to our teaching teams, collaborating closely with staff to develop strategies, reinforce instruction, and ensure consistent support across learning environments. Her impact extends well beyond the classroom. In recent years, she devotes her time and care to our school's drama productions, ensuring that all students have the access, accommodations, and support that they need to fully participate and shine. This year, Phyllis has been an incredible advocate and has been in years past. I just wasn't here to talk about that. But in this year, an advocate for her students and for all of her team members. She's been a strong leader of the SSRP, and she always advocates for what's best for her team. Her commitment makes a meaningful difference in the lives of so many. And every conversation we have, we talk about how we can make this school community a better place. And that comes from Phyllis's heart and dedication to this school. So we are deeply grateful for all the things that she brings to our students and school. Thank you, Phyllis. This evening, we are also honored to recognize Miss Kathleen Wright for her heartfelt dedication and the meaningful impact she makes each day as a teaching assistant in our 6th grade community. Kathleen is a steady and compassionate presence, especially for our most vulnerable learners, offering patient guidance, thoughtful reteaching, and this consistent encouragement that helps students build both skills and self-confidence. Kathleen will do it all. Even when we tell her not to do it, she just wants to go, go, go. There is no stopping Kathleen. Even when we say it's okay, nope, that's it. She's going from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor to the gym. She'll do it all if it means that she gets to work with students and help make their experience in middle school a better place. She extends that same care beyond the school day. She's here 3 afternoons a week during our homework club to help students, one-on-one, small groups, help them get that extra support that she needs outside of the school day. She continues to support students in a nurturing and structured environment at all times. Kathleen's kindness, reliability, and commitment to student growth make her an invaluable member of our team, and we are truly grateful for all she brings to our school, and we will miss you. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you to all our SMS staff members.
Oh, good. I wasn't sure. I didn't see you on the way in. And with that, after hearing everyone's lovely words, I believe we're going to take a few-minute break, and we have some refreshments, and just to thank everybody and celebrate 25 years of service. Okay, great. This spring, thank you everyone for indulging us and allowing us to thank our wonderful teachers and their families for their 25 years of service. And this brings us to our central office report for the Capital Bond Project.
So tonight we do have Mike Lantier from H2M back with us. You've seen his face a few times over the last few months, and it's going to be a similar presentation to what was given a month ago, but again, we just want to put the information out there so everyone has the information that they need to be able to vote on May 20th. So I'll turn it over to Mike.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Board of Ed. It's nice to be here presenting. This is our second public board presentation. It will be a third as well. We have done a number of building walkthroughs as well. My name is Mike Lantier. I represent H2M Architects and Engineers. We have been the district's architects and engineers for about 8 or 9 years and have worked on a number of different projects with the school district. My firm is a multidisciplined architectural and engineering firm. We really have every type of architect and engineer under one roof to complete the different types of projects that a school district may encounter. I will go through the presentation. I know know a lot of people in this room have been through it 5 or 6 or 7 times at this point throughout the different committee reviews and the entire process. But I don't want the speed of which I'm going through this to stop any questions. So if there are any questions, please feel free to raise your hands and we'll ask them. I do encourage anyone to go to the school district's website as well, where this presentation will be posted, as well as any of the previous videos. And there are a number of pictures as well that can be seen on the district's website as part of this presentation. So moving forward, I'm going to touch on the comprehensive plan process. It really started about in 2019 when the previous building condition survey was completed. What that survey is an architect and a team of engineers coming through really all of your buildings to assess them and come up with a list of needs. And then those needs get further prioritized, which we did. We broke them down basically into interior, exterior, site work, water systems, HVAC systems, and electrical systems. And then we meet with different building administration, district administration, and we come up with a list of priorities that may be in addition to items that we saw on the side from a building and a facilities perspective. And then as part of that process, we then review any potential future needs that we may want to include in a potential bond referendum and this comprehensive plan process. Then we go into the prioritization, the budgeting, and the financing, which is bold on the screen because that's really where we are now. And then the presentation of the scope, and that's why I'm also here tonight. So then moving on, I include this slide for a couple of different reasons. One, it tells you the age of the buildings. The school district's buildings were built really from the 1930s through the 50s primarily, and then there were a number of different building renovations and additions through the early 2000s. So a number of the schools really do have some aging infrastructure. What I will say, walking through these buildings, it is very clear that maintenance and facilities does a wonderful job, and I don't want that to be misconstrued either. The reason I also include this is just to talk about the overall square footage. A typical house in this area is about 2,000 square feet. These buildings range from, the elementary school is about 89,000 square feet to your high school, which is almost 217,000 square feet. So you can see the size and the scale of this work compared to, a smaller house is, sometimes 50 to 60 times that amount. And, unfortunately, we do have a yearly maintenance budget to handle and improve regular things that need updating. But unfortunately, like a house, there's certain infrastructure items that come upon disrepair that really should be completed and repaired at once for really a number of reasons. One is scalability, and two is the cost of construction just really continues to go up, and it's important to make sure that we're updating our infrastructure. Next slide, please, Chris.
Just to be clear, the square footage you're referencing is the building square footage too. You're not even talking about the grounds as far as like pavement and fields and stuff as well. So.
Correct. Yeah, and your high school, if my memory serves me correctly, your high school is on about 72 acres, I believe, the high school and the elementary school. So your property sizes are large as well. As we move into the summary of the project costs, we did come up with this priority list, and you'll see that there are no priority one items. Anything that did come up as a priority one, which we would consider life safety, which there really, in this case, were not many of, were immediately handled and corrected by the school district. We then further prioritized our numbers and into different priorities. We were originally at about $106 million on all items, and that was back in January of 2024 when we gave the Board of Ed report. And since then, the committees have met. We've prioritized, and we have come up with a presentation of about $63.9 million. Out of which 62 is proposed to be paid from a bond, and then about $1.8 million is proposed to be from the existing capital reserve. And the intent of this bond is to present projects that are tax neutral. So anything associated with these projects would not come at an additional cost for the local share, and that local share remains constant. Chris, if I can hand it over to you.
Yep. So the purpose of this next slide is just to review our existing local share and our projected local share moving out. And again, when we say local share, we're talking about our debt service payments that we make for previous bonds, minus any building aid that we might be receiving for those projects. So the green bar is just signifying where we are today in the 24-25 school year. You could see that that's our existing local share. So again, our debt service payments minus any building aid we receive on the projects. So moving forward for this upcoming project, that's in the orange bar. So you can see we're going to be, again, borrowing funds, but our existing local share will not be increasing. So it's important to keep that consistency for tax cap purposes so we don't have some wild swings. And again, it's essentially no additional cost to the taxpayers for the project. The costs that are going to be incurred are already built into our current budget and our existing debt structure. There was a question that came up at one point, the bonds that are falling off was for a $54 million project, 15 or 20 years ago, and now we're bringing on a $63.9 million project. How is it? It's because some of the project, we're not receiving some of that building aid currently. So we're assuming all of that debt for the current bond project. Moving forward, we will be receiving aid on the project, and we'll structure the debt in a way that it'll coincide with the bond payments and the building aid that we're going to be receiving. So again, looking at just maintaining that local share so we don't have those swings in the tax cap, and we're able to get a lot of this work done that is necessary.
And when you say wild swings, you're meaning the fact that these debt payments are able to be excluded from the tax cap, and then it impacts our ability to how much money we can raise year to year.
Yes, that is a very nice way to put it. Better than I said.
You're teaching me things, Chris.
So I'll turn it back over to Mike.
Thank you, Chris. Now, just to move into the scope of work, what you will see across many of the buildings is really the same type of work, the same type of infrastructure work in many cases. The way that this is broken down, I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but the items that are in bold are really specific to a school, and then there are a number of items that are not bolded, which are really typical across every one of the schools. So on this slide, I really will touch on first the typical, and then I'll touch on the building specific. So you'll see across the district, you'll see retaining wall repairs, drainage upgrades, doors and window replacement and upgrades. You'll see a lot of asphalt pavement replacement and resurfacing, just really due to the age. Building weatherization. Building weatherization is just simply caulking, sealant, and repairing brickwork throughout the building. That could be also weatherization as part of the roof flashing systems as well. There are a lot of HVAC upgrades across the district. That includes replacing existing rooftop units. That includes installing unit vents in a number of classrooms across the district. A large portion of the bond is flooring and ceilings as well across every one of the schools. Again, just really primarily due to age and condition of the infrastructure. There are a number of bathrooms to be upgraded, electrical equipment across all of the district, across all of the buildings to just replace any antiquated equipment. We do have classroom upgrades. We'll get to a slide that kind of explains what the plan is for each of the classrooms. And then we have a number of sidewalks, fire alarms really at each one of the buildings will get upgraded. Some roofing, most of the roofing in the district has been replaced, but there are a couple areas where the roofing is being replaced as well. And then specific to Primrose, we do have some water service upgrades, playground upgrades, and then that whole entrance canopy area is included in the scope of work. So then as I move on to the intermediate school, again, you'll see a lot of the items that are not bolded, but specific to the intermediate school, we do have, again, water service infrastructure work, playground upgrades, and then some exterior learning areas, namely a nice greenhouse area that the district has, and just really refreshing that entire area. As I move on to the middle school, the middle school specific upgrades are replacing your existing propane storage. Again, that's just an infrastructure item due to the age of the equipment. A nice turf area to be installed in the back. We have a rendering that I'll get to in a minute where the students currently are playing. The area is just very difficult to maintain because of soil conditions, available irrigation. So, and it's a heavily used play area, so we've included some upgrades back there. Some exterior stair upgrades to the main, to the original portion of the building, some auditorium upgrades for the middle school that included flooring and HVAC replacement, and then there are 3 tech labs that we also do have a rendering for as well that are slated to get upgraded. Then moving on to the high school. High school specific equipment is, again, auditorium upgrades. We will be replacing the entrance to the upper gym area to make it AD accessible, replace the railings, and to make that entire area just flow a little bit better than it does right now. Science room upgrades throughout, track replacement. Some work around the main entrance area and the main entrance canopy to replace some of the existing equipment that's there. Boiler upgrades for a portion of the building where there has been a number of boiler issues really each heating season. Gymnasium upgrades for that upper gymnasium, and then sports lighting and a press box replacement. The school district does also own a transportation building in the back of the high school. There are, similar to the other buildings, we are doing pavement replacement and some drainage, but also included in the transportation area are surveillance or security upgrades, some additional parking lot upgrades, that's some curbing, some fencing, some drainage, and then some upgrades to the existing bus wash system. So on the next slide, it's a number of photos. I recommend if you want to go to the district website, you can look at these photos in the PDF. But it's really just a sample across the district of typical conditions that we're seeing. This first slide is just really showing examples of the weatherization, the roofs, some of the windows, and some of the brick repointing that needs to be done. The next slide is showing some more of the exterior work. Again, it's concrete sidewalks, walkways, curbs, a lot of the asphalt, a lot of the parking lots, a lot of the asphalt walkways as well, and retaining wall replacement and retaining wall repairs. Some exterior work that we have really are some entrance upgrades across the district, repairing some of the existing conditions, new playgrounds, and then the bottom 2 right pictures are just kind of showing what the existing area looks like where we're planning to put the middle school turf play area. Some of the interior items, we mentioned electrical, so there are a number of electrical panels throughout the district where we're finding that components are just difficult to find and expensive when they are able to be found, so we're looking to be proactive to replace components and systems before there's a catastrophic failure. Fire alarm upgrades and then some bathroom upgrades across the district are pretty typical as well. And then moving on to really the last photo page, just an example of some of the flooring and the ceiling that you're going to see. The high school auditorium will have some upgrades, and then a couple other various items that we're showing pictures of, like the unit vents, some exterior weatherization in the top right as well, some of the ceiling, some of the stairs as well. As I move on to this next slide, this is just some of the conceptual renderings that the team of architects put together through the discussion process to determine where it made sense to locate some of this equipment. And the 2 on the left are really showing the concept for the middle school turf area. That's behind the middle school in the lower area where the students are currently using the grass area. So it is an artificial turf installation similar to what was installed over at the high school for the softball, similar surface to that, and it would be used for general use. At this point, we're not showing anything sports specific. And then on the right side are just some renderings, some ideas of potential playground areas for Primrose and then the intermediate school. Those playgrounds would also be installed on an artificial turf surface, which meets all of your impact ratings and current standards for fall protection.
Is there any other options besides turf to put them on?
So there are options for turf, and as we get into the design process, we can select that. We are typically recommending turf right now for really a number of reasons. The main one being maintenance. What we're seeing on a lot of the rubberized surface, they just do, there's color fading, there's shrinkage, and they are requiring replacement, and they do create tripping hazards kind of as they do shrink over the years. The turf is a pretty easy maintenance, and you can bring really the same equipment in to retuff the surface to bring that impact rating to where it needs to be regularly.
What's the difference in shelf life between?
You're probably looking at repairs on a rubberized surface, and there are other options too.
Which would be less expensive, right?
You can go with a mulch surface similar to the existing as well, but there are fall protection concerns with mulch and the requirements for the depth of the mulch, and it becomes a maintenance item. But if you're looking at a rubberized surface, you're looking at getting probably 8 to 10 years before you do start seeing some wear to it. We do sometimes see it sooner than that as well.
And what about the turf?
And the turf, you're looking at about 20 years. You're looking, at about 15 years depending on the play, and you may have to replace the rubberized pellets, but you're not looking for a full replacement for, it really should be 20 plus years.
What's the cost difference?
Between the turf and the rubberized surface, it's not much. I can get exact costs. I mean, we could even potentially go out for an alternate and make that decision during the design, during the bidding process as well when the numbers come in.
Do we have that, Chris? Like the breakdown of each cost per project in the school?
Yeah, we have a pretty detailed listing of every item that's the projected costs, yes.
Available for us to see
We can,
prior to?
yeah, we can share that with you.
Mike, from a safety perspective, though, is there any significant difference between turf and mulch and the rubberized?
So from day one, there's not. They have to meet standard ratings. Your insurance carrier will require to see the test results as well. It's called GMAX testing, where they actually have a piece of equipment that comes out and they drop a ball from a certain height and they're able to record the bounce of it. So day one, there's typically not. They all do meet that criteria. Mulch requires typically yearly maintenance, and mulch is supposed to be, I believe, a 9-inch depth. I don't know if Chris, if you know that offhand, but typically I believe it's a 9-inch depth of mulch to be able to meet that GMAX rating, which is a large amount of mulch to keep up with and maintain the testing. And then the rubberized surfaces, they should be able to maintain that. And we do see them that they typically do, but depending on some differences in the systems that are installed for the rubberized, we sometimes do see them losing that and having to be either recoated or repaired in certain areas.
Thank you.
Another benefit too is with the turf is the transition. The transition between turf and adjacent surfaces is usually just a nailer board, so it's a very smooth transition, which makes ADA compliance pretty easy too. With the rubberized surface, there's usually some kind of transition that's an inch and a half, which you may have to be thinned down, which kind of creates more of an issue with it peeling up. But we can show examples of both.
Is there any drainage or anything that needs to be done prior to putting in turf?
So there is drainage, and the type of drainage really depends on the results that we get from the geotechnical tests, where they'll do soil borings to determine the composite of the soil. But there is drainage. Most of the time, the drainage is able to be achieved with just an under system with rocks basically, and the water permeates through the existing systems. But depending if the soil tells us we need to put in a different type of drainage system, there would be.
And obviously, one's more expensive than the other. It's
correct.
Rise
yeah.
the cost significantly. Correct.
There's costs. So as we come up with our initial budget and our presentations, we're kind of taking a stance where it's nothing is detailed and designed at that point, so we do have to make some assumptions as we design it. So we include a typical cost for what we're seeing, and then we include contingency in there as well to come up with any unforeseen conditions or any additional costs that would be included, like drainage.
So that number would have either drainage that you would need.
It would have the drainage that you would need. Yep.
If it was the higher or the lower, the more expensive or the less expensive one, that's already built into.
Yeah, I mean the way that we priced it out was with a standard drainage and then a turf system, and then a contingency built on top of that.
And we'd have more exact costs as the bidding process is going through, right, when we actually go through the planning?
Yeah, even well before the bidding process, when we get to about a 50% design standpoint across our board, after the surveys are done, the geotechnical are done, and our teams start to lay out the concepts and they get prices of materials at that time, we come up with an estimate. Triton Construction is also your construction manager that's contracted to work through this process, and they have an estimating team as well that looks at H2M's drawings independently and comes up with their own costs before we go out to bid, before we go to the state.
So is there a chance that if this bond gets approved, so $63 million, is there a chance that if once you get all these estimates in and bids in, that it surpasses what that number is, and then we would get less of what we think we're getting for that number, correct?
So yeah, I mean, that's a great question. We've included in our budgets is a nice contingency, which we would consider healthy, but we have seen some unforeseen conditions in the economy really over the last 5 years, which makes that very difficult. We also want to be able to present a realistic cost. So if we came in and we just threw 50% on top of our number just to kind of cover ourselves for unforeseen conditions, we don't think that would be a fair representation either. So we look at the information that we have currently, and then we produce numbers that are really according to that, with an escalation factor as well. But you're right, if something happens and the cost of materials really does go through the roof, there's kind of a couple options that we have there. We can come back to the public and we can publicly tell them what we're removing from the project and why we're removing it from the project. But typically what we do in years past is we basically provide biddable drawings that provide a large array of items that can be selected to make sure that we're maintaining our budget. Like ceilings and floors are a really easy example of that, where we will put out to bid probably about 15% more than we think is currently in the budget, and we'll see where the numbers actually fall. Contractors have different prices for their material based upon the relationships. They also may have different prices for the labor that they're using. They have different equipment that costs different amount of money for them to either lease or that they have themselves. So at that point, we would really determine what work we're able to afford as we bid out these projects. If there is a case where we can't afford this, we would either scale back the work. We wouldn't have the intention to remove the overall plan. So if we're saying we're planning to spend $5 million on HVAC, we would still plan to spend the $5 million on HVAC. But if those costs increased, you may get slightly less than we were originally hoping to spend that money on.
Right. I mean, we could see where that could be a problem with, the community. I mean, they're voting on something that's a number value of a number as to what it looks like they're getting in here. And now you come back 6 months to a year later, all right, well, we're going to cut this in half for $63 million. You're only getting half of what we said we were going to give you. I'm not too sure how the commercial side goes to do all the estimates and the bidding, but why don't we do that prior to giving a number?
Because of the amount of time and the amount of engineering that goes into the plans to get them to a position where you can do that type of estimation. So what we're looking at to come up with our estimates are real-time recent bids for similar scale and scope of projects. With H2M, the amount of K through 12 work that we do consistently have similar projects that are coming into bid that we compare our number to. And at the end of the day, if we're saying we're doing $69 million and we're including all of these line items in it, one way or another, we're making sure that we're providing and doing the work that we're stating in here for the amount of money that's approved in here.
Just not to the scale of what we thought.
But potentially not to the scale. We haven't seen it happen where we've had to drastically dial back a bond because of the contingencies that are put into place, but it's not to say that it potentially can happen. We also do regular updates. We'll do public updates like this. And that will, Triton will present where we are financially, where after we've received the bids, and after the cost estimating. So we really know whether we're in line or whether we need to, discuss other options. But I don't foresee us having to go that way at this point.
And
So
we also,
we'll
we can't
circle back.
award, we'll definitely circle back
So I
as
know
we
if
go through the
certain
process.
things are taking out, there's going to be a lot of unhappy campers.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean,
Such as like playgrounds that are huge that need a lot of help.
and there's certain items in here that we said are more of a priority. Those 2s and 3.1s, 3.2s, it's really more of the 3 or even the 4s. That is where we'll look to scale back if we have to. Just a little bit more to your question, we can't award any bids until we have SED approval. We can't have SED approval until the voters approve it, and then Mike and his team can submit the documents to SED. So that's why we can't go too much further along in the process
So it's
until.
not possible to get any bids prior to approving
Correct.
the budget.
No.
Right.
I was just going to say, and I'm looking at the schedule, it looks like a design doesn't start until June of this year, and it takes a good year to get all of your construction documents together to bid, and that's going to happen in May of '26. So it'll take almost a year to develop your drawings, and then we could have accelerated material costs between now and then, for sure.
Yep. At the end, I go through the construction schedule, but correct. Once we do have approval from the voters and authorization to proceed, that's when we start our geotechnical, because the funding is in place and available to pay for the geotechnical at that point. And then H2M would start on the design, and then the surveys get completed at that time as well, and any environmental testing as well. So if I just go on to the slide that just talks about some of the conceptual renderings, this is an example of a tech lab. What our architects did was we went through the existing 3, the STEM, the media labs, the tech labs, and we kind of comprised just an architectural rendering that really shows all of those into a nice space. This next slide is just an alternate angle that kind of just brings in a lot of the existing components that they're using. Nice casework, which is the built-in furniture, and some storage for this equipment. Moving on to a general classroom, what we've done is we've included a $25,000, basically an allowance in a per classroom basis. As my team went through the different rooms, it was kind of becoming clear to us that there's not a major standard when we go room for room, depending on what has been done and what's been completed. Some rooms have new flooring, some rooms have new ceilings. So what we've done is, depending on the biggest need at the time when we go through with this process and the design work, we would include really new casework or new furniture or new flooring or general painting or new ceilings within a room as well.
And we do want to be very clear on this slide that each classroom is not going to get all of that. We've allotted 25,000. Again, not necessarily, if a classroom only needs 20, doesn't mean, we can use that other 5,000 in another classroom that might need a little bit more. But not every classroom, or no classroom is going to get new casework, new furniture, new flooring, new ceilings. They're not going to get it all. We're going to have to, like Mike said, we're going to look at each room individually and see what is the biggest need for that room. And again, we did hear from the students earlier this evening about some of the furniture that they're looking to get. So yes, obviously, we'll certainly forward some of that information on to Mike Lantier, like Harry mentioned, and then that'll be part of the discussion.
You weren't here for the.
I heard it.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I was watching
a wonderful job presenting on the mindfulness lounge for the 8th graders, and then the dream class also. And they have some interesting input, and I think it would be good for them to share it with you, and maybe you have a conversation with them
Absolutely.
about the process.
Yeah, we love that collaboration.
And I know on the tour, we were able to, we had somewhat attendance and pretty decent attendance, and one of we looked at the flooring in one of the classrooms at SIS, because I know that's something that we're probably going to be looking to do, of like removing the carpeting in there, and that's kind of like an ideal classroom situation.
Yeah, we have one classroom at the moment has the
Right.
pretty nice flooring. Just one.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't need the flooring, obviously, going forward, but that being said, it's also a good example of something
Right,
that
of what it
be
could
done.
look like. Yep.
Yeah.
This slide just is really a high level of our schedule. The green check boxes really are where we are today. This is our public bond presentation number 2. I invite really anyone to attend the building walkthrough tour, which will be held next Tuesday for the high school and the elementary school, where we really get a hands-on approach and we get to really show what the plan is for each one of the buildings. And then finally, the public bond vote is on the 20th of May, and that will be at the middle school from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And like we mentioned on the construction schedule, construction after it goes to the state education department, after my team is done with the design work, will get reviewed. A building permit will be put in place. Then we go out to public bidding, and then construction really would begin the summer next of 2026. Would bring us really through probably the next 2 summers to a substantial completion in September of 2028. On the last slide is
And Mike, that construction beginning possibly next summer is contingent upon getting SED approval. Again, right now, the amount of time it's taking for them to approve projects isn't too bad, but we've also seen it up over a year at some point. So a lot depends on when projects are being submitted to the state. And again, we don't anticipate submitting until December if the project is approved in a couple weeks.
I know that hung up our the athletic fields for quite some time.
Yep.
That timeline. All right, so we are close. Sorry about that, everyone. We lost power. That's why we're a little darker here in the SMS auditorium. But we're going to power through here. No pun intended. This brings us to our, thank you, Mike Lettieri, for that wonderful capital project update. This brings us to our board action for personnel consent agenda. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, hereby approves the attached personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have our business consent agenda. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, hereby approves the attached business agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Chris, do you have any comments? No, this is a simple,
Very
big
small
difference, right? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Stipulation of settlement. Be resolved that the Superintendent of Schools is hereby authorized and empowered to execute the stipulation of settlement signed on April 23rd, 2025 by the parent of student 566, and the superintendent is further authorized to take all action necessary to effectuate the terms of this agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Sorry, I realize I'm not saying that. Be it resolved that the Superintendent of Schools is hereby authorized and empowered to execute the stipulation of settlement signed on May 2nd, 2025 by the parent of student 514, and the superintendent is further authorized to take all action necessary to effectuate the terms of this agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, this brings us to our public comment period. All speakers will properly identify themselves, a maximum of a 30-minute period, limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No district employee or student may be commented upon or identified by name or situation. Questions asked by the public will be referred to the appropriate staff member for reply at a later time or date. Questions requiring investigations will be referred to the superintendent for consideration and later response. All written statements shall be given to the district clerk. Do you have any public comment? Okay. That brings us then to our board comments.
Okay, that MYP showcase was phenomenal. And learning about the flexible seating and the de-stress rooms, I thought that was really clever. And I look forward to the time in their project when they talk about schedule and budget, because certainly Chris and I can help with that, and help them like project the whole process of making that a reality. So that'll be really fun. And then I attended the district art show last Thursday, and it was really spectacular. Especially there was one artist, I sat and talked to her for about a half hour. Her name was Athena, and she did an image of Pope Francis that was so realistic. She painted it. It was magnificent. It was like a tribute to him. So I was touched by that. That was really wonderful. Let's see, and then, thank you so much, Michael and Chris, for presenting the bond once again, so that we can vote in the next week or two, in the next 2 weeks. And then, again, congratulations to the 25-year celebrants. It was really remarkable, and I felt blessed to be a part of that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go next. Also wanted to thank Mrs. Scatino and Mrs. O'Connor and the young ladies who presented those MYP projects this evening. That was I thought very informative. I thought it was also great to show how they were working in groups on a project-based kind of project. That's really demonstrates something that a lifelong learning skill, like that ability to work together in teams and the way that they had to communicate and interview people and do their email contacts and gather the information, put it all together was quite impressive. I also was at the District Art Show. It's always one of the highlights really of this community and seeing the artwork from the kindergarten level all the way through seniors in high school. It's one of those few events that's really K through 12. That was spectacular, and I think it was great that it was also kept open for a full week, so people who couldn't make it on that one evening had the opportunity in the late afternoons to go over there. Also, congrats to the 25-year celebrants. I think the comments that were made by the teacher or the principals really shows how fortunate we are with those human resources that we've got in this district, from everything from the teachers, teacher assistants, to the bus monitor and the head custodian from SIS, who's been with the district for so long. So that was it's always nice being able to do that. I had the good fortune of working with a couple of those teachers when I was substitute teaching, and a really, really positive experience that those kids have who are fortunate to be in those teachers' classrooms. Speaking of teachers, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. I want to give a call out to all the teachers who really make our schools the successes that they are. Couldn't do anything without teachers. We wouldn't be able to sit here and read what we're doing if it weren't for teachers. They play a very, very key role in every child's life, and we're very blessed in this district to have some great teachers. And finally, as we mentioned, 2 weeks from today is the vote for both the budget bond and B.O.E. candidates. I would strongly urge the community to come out and support the budget. I was involved with the Citizens Finance Committee. I think Chris and the team have done a super job with the budget, and I would urge everyone to vote for that. Similarly with the bond project, as we've seen tonight, thanks to Mike and H2M and Triton for putting that all together. I think a lot of this work is not necessarily the sexiest stuff, but it's the kind of stuff that needs to be done to keep our schools.
So you're coming out to vote?
Coming out to vote.
Coming out to vote. Coming out to vote.
Not how to vote.
Not how to vote. And come out to support the candidates of your choice for the B.O.E. So that's all I've got.
Great job to all the kids that came out tonight for the community project. Congratulations to all the 25-year teachers for their service to the community. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week as well. There was a couple of things maybe we could just follow up on, Chris, maybe for next meeting or sometime during the week. If we could just get a breakdown of what all this, for each school, like what project, how much that's going to cost. Also, I think there's something we need to consider, which I'll bring up with the security committee team, security issues, how we're going to deal with that when this project, and if this project starts. So it's kind of a situation that definitely needs to be dealt with, and how we're going to deal with that. So, but yeah, I guess we'll bring that up with Dan. And,
at the next district-wide safety meeting.
Yeah, a big thank you, 25-year accomplishments. That's just fantastic, and we're blessed as a district to have great educators who reach and then are energized and keep helping educate our children. And we see that then through the middle year community projects that were presented tonight, and I know this was a sample of it, but that's the stuff I just get so excited about when you see what students are getting involved in, and what they're learning from it, and what they're demonstrating that they've learned, and it's such a great additional addition to their education and growth. I'm just really impressed, so I think that's awesome. Yep, May 20th, please come out, vote. You're voting on the budget, you're voting on the bond, and you're voting on the trustees. So important duty that we all have. So please get out. Let's see. There's a lot going on in schools right now. It's hard to keep up. Really hard to keep up. I know there's a science symposium coming up in 2 nights. I hope to make it to that. A lot of exams going on. You get up to the seniors, juniors and seniors going through AP exams, IB exams. Good luck to all of you. Congratulations on your hard work. And I know once you get past those exams, yeah, you get to relax a little bit. That's a nice time for those ages. There's regents out there. There's a lot. No, the regents are, that's all the way at the end. There's a lot. Trust me. I'm just saying for those that are in an intense period right now.
Yeah.
But end of the year is always very dynamic. So enjoy it. Keep up the energy. And thank you, everyone.
Congratulations to each and every one of our faculty and staff. I think it was very fitting that it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we were celebrating 25 years of service to some amazing educators and faculty here at our Somers family. This budget supports the education of our children and provides multiple pathways for all learners. And so while we face a decline in enrollment, we've really, I think Chris and his team have designed a budget to ensure that positions remain, unfilled when they can be and absorbed into the current staffing levels. And at the same time, we've increased support for students in the areas of special education. So this balanced approach really allows us to maintain our high quality education standards while being fiscally responsible, I think. This budget also funds a lot of the funds all the teachers' professional development, which we prioritize here, make sure the teachers are supported and trained in the best practices for all learners, and always looking to continued improvements. So I hope everyone takes the time to read the budget. It's online, it's available. If any questions come in, please ask. We're gonna be the best, or Chris is really gonna be the best source of information on the budget. Harry's going to be the best source of information on what's going on in our school district. The Learning Office is available to talk about the curriculum. These are all things that are in the budget, so if there's questions about it, ask. And we're going to be the source, the school district is going to be the source for the best source for the most accurate information. The art show was amazing. I also got a chance to attend it. I think art education really fosters that critical thinking, creativity, and emotional development, and it's so essential that we continue to have that. I love that SEF gave us a grant to allow it to go for multiple days. It's a great partnership there, and I know Dr. Bronstein was able to attend the art show today on his way over to the State of the Town address because it was open for an extra day. So I think that's great that it was open for several days, right? Yeah. I know this wasn't a school exact related event, but our students were able to take part in the Human Rights and Holocaust Commission contest recently, and we had 3 prize winners. Danielle Donnelly was a first place winner, Kira Linares was a second prize winner, and Ashley Contreras Valencia was a third prize winner, so that's amazing. As Chad said, we have the Science Research Symposium on Thursday. I look forward to attending. And of course, last but not least, the MYP Community Showcase is next Thursday, and we saw a sampling of it here tonight, and I think it's so amazing to see our students in action. This is the 3rd year of doing this program, and to see its development over that short course of time has been amazing. And I think it really helps to prepare our students in life going forward, really. I mean, to see them, and I look forward to speaking with them next week. Also want to mention that the community questions and answers is up on our B.O.E. website under the B.O.E. tab, and it has certain topics that have come up in public comment. And take it away, Harry.
Okay, thank you. I'd also like to compliment the students on their community project presentations. As I mentioned at the time, after they completed it, the presentations were amazing, and the fact that they were able to respond to the impromptu questions from the board and give such clear and concise responses to things that they weren't necessarily prompted on. And they're in 8th grade. And that really, really demonstrates the level of learning that we should all be proud of. So again, congratulations to those students and their mentors. I'd also like to congratulate the students who were inducted into National Honor Society last night at Somers High School. Quite a number of sophomores and juniors were inducted. That was an amazing ceremony. I'd also like to congratulate the staff members who were recognized for 25 years of service to the district. Their dedication to the students in the district is greatly appreciated. Opening day, we recognized the staff members who had 10, 15, 20 years, knowing that tonight we were going to identify and recognize those who have 25 years. However, on that first day of school, we also had staff members who were recognized for 30 years of service, 35 years, and one for 40 years of service to Somers. I've been in education for 50 years, never made more than 15 years in any one district, so just a little perspective. It's an amazing thing to do that. I'd like to thank Mike Lantier for his presentation on the capital project. That'll be part of the vote on the 20th, coming up in 2 weeks. And also, again, reinforce that the students in their community projects spoke about flexible seating and room utilization and that there should be some dialogue with them to get their perspective on things. Also, next Tuesday night, the 13th at 6:30, starting at Primrose, there'll be another open house. This will be for Primrose and Somers High School to get a bird's eye view of the projects that are proposed. I'd also like to remind the community that there is a lot of information on the budget and the capital projects posted to the district website. There are separate tabs for each topic. Each of the budget presentations made to the board over the past several months is available on the website. This is accurate and factual information for your review. If there are any questions about either, contact Chris Platania by email or phone. His contact information is also on the website. There is additional information for the community on the district website under the Board of Education tab labeled Community Questions and Answers, as Amanda mentioned. This is where the board has provided information in response to questions that have been raised at board meetings during the public comment section at each of the board meetings. There's information about the volleyball program, regionalization, and the baseball merger. All of the information posted is accurate and factual. I emphasize this because I understand that there's a lot of misinformation and personal opinion being posted on various social media platforms that conflates the budget with regionalization and sports team mergers, etc. So again, there is complete and accurate information on the district website, or you can contact Chris Platania or myself if you have any questions. That's it.
Resolved that this workshop of the Board of Education be adjourned.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained?